This will be the first video in a series of videos. I will be creating a playlist. I will put a link to that playlist in all of the videos, and if for some reason you don't have a link to it, let me know, along with letting me know if there's something in the series that I missed. And all of your questions, leave those in the comment area if you have them. So let's go ahead and get started with our first project. We're going to be using a straight 1x12. We're going to set it on top of the steps like this. And we could always use some tape to hold it to the wall if that's going to work. And the first thing we're going to do with this suggestion here is check to see if there are any gaps at all between the bottom of our board and the corner of the tread and the riser. And if there are any gaps at all, then we're going to have to use a different video. Even though this method can be used for both, we're going to focus on straight steps, straight lumber, and create a finished straight skirt board. So the first thing I want you to do is set your framing square on top of the tread, butt it up against the riser. And even though I don't have the inch marks over here, you can use yours or simply make a mark on the framing square like I did here. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to grab a piece of paper and a pencil and then go ahead and check all of the steps, including the first one down here. Set the framing square like we have it here. On each one of the steps, write down what the numbers are, and if they're all the same, great. And you can go ahead and proceed with watching the rest of the video. If they're different, this method might not work for you. And there are a variety of different ways you can do this. We're going to use a level and line the point of the framing square up with the point of the tread and the riser. And then we're going to use this to lay out our first step or our first notch that we're going to need to make in our skirt board. So here you can see where we're making a mark that would line up with the mark we placed on our framing square at the top, and then we're going to do the same thing at the bottom here. And then after we have the framing square in the position that we need, we can go ahead and draw the lines that we're going to use to cut out our notches for the skirt board. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to connect the two lines here together with a straight line, or a line that's going to be parallel to the top of the skirt board. And if you go to connect the two lines and they're off a little bit, then you might have a problem. And we'll need to watch another video in this series to solve that problem. Next up, let's go ahead and set the framing square into the next position. And you can see here where the marks are in the same spot as they were on the previous step. Then we're going to go ahead and reposition the framing square. And of course, you can see here where we have laid out the rest of the marks we need. And of course, after we cut out our notches, let's just go ahead and give you a couple of different views of our board here. And after you have done a couple of these, you might be able to lay them out on top of a couple of sawhorses, or at the very least, you'll be able to take the board over to and set it on top of something so that you can cut the notches out. You will not be cutting the notches out with the skirt board still up against the wall, like we have in our example here. After that, you know what to do. Slide it into position. And if everything works out okay, you shouldn't have any gaps in between the risers and the treads, and should be able to finish off the floor trim however you want to. You can see here where we are using this method here to connect the baseboards to the skirt board at the bottom and at the top. And hopefully this makes sense. However, if it doesn't, like I mentioned in the video, feel free to leave any questions you have in the comment area, and I will try to answer them as soon as possible.